Welcome to More Action, the podcast for entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals. I'm your host, Sheley Brien, and together we have candid conversations with industry leaders to uncover valuable wisdom and lessons learned. My hope is you use these lessons to intentionally take more action in business and life. I hope you share and enjoy. Today's episode is going to be pretty fun because I'm tying in something I recently learned about. And then obviously we are going to talk about the actions that you can take and also relating it to your business, your life, and making sure that you can pull something from this episode, every single episode, into your everyday life so that you can take more action towards your goals. So before we dive in, I'm really excited. I'm like smiling. If you're watching on YouTube, I am smiling because this one is really fun because it's tying in our construction company, and I'm pretty excited to share it with you. So I invite you, come join me over on YouTube, but I want to share another review. Keep them coming in. You guys, podcasting, it is super fun, but it fills your cup like you wouldn't believe when I read these reviews. And so thank you so much for those that are doing it. It also helps the podcast get out there more and attracts more people like us. So this review is from R_Z25. So I don't have a name, but if that's you, this review is all you. It is stated, new perspective. Sheley brings a new, simplified perspective to every topic she discusses. No fluff tips, true and authentic conversations. She has experience in several industries, but most important, she has an unmatched ethics and integrity. Oh, like that one. Seriously, I'm done. Like, we should shut off the show right now. Thank you so much for that. Integrity is a huge, huge thing for me in every area of life. My integrity with others and myself and those with me, it means the world. So hearing that, thank you so much. It's good to know that what you're sharing is coming across. Okay. Oh my gosh, I want to keep it together. That one got me. So let's dive in here because I want to talk about the debate of form versus function, but when it comes to your business. Now, the reason why I'm talking about construction, because this is actually a term or a phrase that came from architecture. And it's called form follows function. And it's a principle of design, and it was associated with the late 19th and early 20th century architecture and industrial design. And it states the shape of a building or object should primarily relate to its function or purpose. So form follows function. And it signified the belief that the exterior design of a building, particularly those tall structures, those skyscrapers, should be a direct reflection of the interior purpose. And you're probably like, Sheley, what the hell? We're not in architect. We're not in construction like you. Of course, I'm going to relate this to your everyday life, whether it's your career and or your business. But I think that this is something that rarely gets talked about in business in this manner, yet can have such a profound effect on the action that you take. And really in business, it's like that form follows function. It's a matter of your entrenched views that are often based on anecdotal evidence, right? What does that mean? It's based upon your experience. So I want to dive into these two words a little bit more, and then I'm going to share with you an example, a perfect example of this real life. And then I have some questions for you at the end, because I think that this is it's so powerful when you take a moment to just really look at this. So I want to go big macro, where it came from, and now I'm going to take you down to the micro and how to use it. So again, form, let's talk about that. Form answers the question of what and how. It relates to the visible shape or physical configuration. right? Think social media, think your website, think your branding, how your visual shape is coming together. And it answers like what, how, and it encompasses all the methods and strategies. Okay. Now, function, on the other hand, it answers the question, why? Why are you posting on social media every day? Why do you want to take the business that direction? Why do you want to serve this type of client? It relates to your purpose. Okay. It defines the reasons that you do something. So, form versus function. Okay. And I really love this because form follows function. Have you ever wanted to do something and then you sit there and it's so freaking hard, or you set up the methods and strategies that are so hard, so challenging, so cumbersome that it makes you not want to do it? The one that I could think of right on the top of, I'm going to give you another example, but I just want to, the one that I think of right off the top of my head is anything health related, right? If you're like, okay, I am going to lose 10 pounds by this date, and I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week. I'm going to go an hour every single time, and I'm never going to miss, and I'm never going to eat carbs again. I'm never going to eat sugar. Like, you make all of these restrictions and you're like, F this. Like, you do it maybe 3 days and then you're done. And so it's like your methods and your strategies are too hard that you just don't even want to do it. So here, that's like a kind of big picture. Here's one for you. This podcast. I started this podcast in January of 23. Okay. I had set for it to actually launch in December. But guess what I did? I started researching. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to buy this microphone. How is the name going to be? I struggle with perfectionism on the name. I already changed the name. If you're new here, it used to have a different name. Now it's more action. It evolved. So I didn't like, I was like trying to pick the right name. I didn't know how to edit. Technology and me are not friends. And I wanted to do something brand new that I didn't know how to do. I, you know, was like seeing people on YouTube and they're like, oh, you got to have this type of lighting and you have to have this type of room and you have to soundproof the room and you can't use your Mac or your computer camera. You need to buy this camera. You need to do this. I've never written an intro for a podcast, nor have I written like an intro or a bio for a podcast either. Oh, yeah, I had no audience. So I was like, oh, maybe I can't start it. I should wait. Should I build up my email list and then I'll launch it there? Maybe I should work on lead magnets and then do that. And I was second guessing everything. I was looking at the methods and the strategies and how I was going to edit all of this. Essentially, I was making it so hard, I couldn't do it. I procrastinated. I focused on the wrong thing. And I then got to January and I was like, screw this. I'm going to go. And it is going to be messy, ugly, probably imperfect action, all of which it was. In the very beginning, I was shaky in my voice recording because I have experienced interviewing people, but not talking by myself like I am right now. I was worried about organizing my thought because I always want to make sure it's in a easy to digest formula. Like, I was doing all of these things. And you know what I did? I set a goal, I started it, and I stopped worrying so much about the form. I focused on the function. Why did I want to do this? What was my purpose behind sharing it? Did it really matter how perfect my sound was? Did it really matter about the editing? Did it really matter about the camera? I was like, I am going to make it so easy that there is no way that I can stop. So I used the Blue Yeti mic that I used in my previous media company when I was doing lots of lives on Facebook. I hired a production company to handle all of the editing. I then moved that to a new production company that has an elevated service that handles the YouTube. I brought in my VA team to help me with content creation based upon all of it. Implemented Canva, I learned real quick how to write an intro. I worked with a copywriter to help me finalize it. I grew social media. I still had no email list and I kept growing. I just took all the hard form out of it and I was back at the function. The function is I wanted to be able to share stories and experiences from myself and others and able to help the listeners save time, make more money, reach their goals much faster than I ever did. And so when I focused on that, I got rid of all the hard. I made it super easy. And here we are over a year later, over 125 episodes and nearly 5,000 downloads with zero email list. I'm freaking so happy is that I focused and I stayed on the function. The purpose is to share the message. The camera, it's working. It's not perfect. And I'm sure YouTube gods probably want it to be a little bit better. But you know what? I'm staying true to my function and moving forward through it. So I share that story because I know that there might be something that you're not doing, that you're too focused on the strategy, the methods, the what or the how, that you're not remembering your why and staying focused and attached to your purpose for what you want to do. So if your form or the emphasis is too heavy on that form side, it's taken away from that function. And so my question for you is, as we close out here, this is a quick, short one because I think you don't need to belabor this. You just got to sit back and ask yourself, is your form following your function? So a couple questions to kind of get you started. Number one was that, is your form following your function? Number two, is there something you want to do in your business or life right now where you are letting the form hold you back? Another way of saying that, are you letting the how and the what hold you back from taking the action? And then what is the minimum you can do that you can make it simple and easy so that you can focus on your function? Is it hiring someone to help you out, like I did with a podcast production company and my VA team? Is it simply moving through your perfectionism? I get it, okay? What is it? Whatever that minimum is to get going, is it like I set a date and I was going to deliver on that date. That's what I needed to do to move past my perfectionism. So I invite you to really reflect, sit back and think, what am I focusing on too much that is keeping me from my function? Go and do it. Make it happen. Don't worry. You're just going to be taking more action. Doesn't necessarily mean perfect action or the right action or whatever. Just take action. Take more action. And I promise you, you will stay focused in your function. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in again. If this one hit, I'd love for you to share, tag me on social media. I'd love to connect you there and be able to give you all the love. And don't forget, join me over on YouTube and LinkedIn as well.